Okay, so what is the difference between a language versus an accent? So with an accent, something like so overall, the broad, the general, and the cultivated Australian accents are all part of Australian English. It's all part of the same language. What varies sort of a dialect and an accent, so a dialect and a language is kind of the into like how well you're able to understand one another, so the intelligibility. But really, accents shows your personal backgrounds, while language just shows what language you speak, right? So I talked about this earlier. The Australian cultivated accent. That's a more on that you often see that on the high end of the socio-economic spectrum, as opposed to broad, having the vice versa sort of correlation. Okay, so leading on from this, the variations, we can talk about how people actually judge the way that we speak and the variations that we speak. You guys might have been familiar or might have heard of the terms overt prestige and covert prestige within Unit 3. So, indeed, prestige is kind of just the respect or, yeah, attached to the language and the power that the language has in influencing the perception of like someone's like perception of you, I guess. Okay, so moreover, there's a divide between what prestige can mean, that being overt prestige and covert prestige. So overt prestige comes with the expectation of, oh, you're in we're part of a bigger a bigger society, and so we should all speak with the standard variety to fit in with the dominant group, right? So that's the idea of overt prestige. It gains you, I guess, more respect and whatnot, as opposed to covert prestige, where within a small group, the use of certain language can gain you respect within that group and admiration almost, right? So you can think of this as street cred. Like if uh, I guess if you're part of a club or you use certain word, like the way you speak fits a certain group, then that group of people would have more respect for you as opposed to just speaking very generally. Um, this is most apparent perhaps within your friend group. You wouldn't want someone there to be just speaking very formally or in a very standard manner and kind of not like having fun and flouting their language about, right? Um, well, I guess it's less fun, or if not, then I guess the covert prestige in your case is not apparent. But that is the big divide in how prestige works and how we actually judge people based on the language that they use. All right, so yeah, I talked about this how discrimination exists if cultivated or like a more standard way of speaking is not uh, it's not displayed, right? Um, so a posh accent can index intelligence success, but it can also be considered less friendly, less trustworthy, and vice versa with that of a broad Australian accent. Okay, so all right. So what we've seen over the years is that there's actually a large shift towards a universal middle class accent in Australia. So if you've seen any old documentaries of Australian Australia back in the days, you'll hear people speaking or people who are interviewed either speaking with stronger broad accents or more formal cultivated accents. Like some of them even sound straight up British, right? And that well not only reflects the I guess ethnic makeup at the time, but also how there was a stronger divide and how we as a society now is kind of trending towards that middle class, trending towards that middle class sort of accent, showing the Australian identity of kind of just being fair. Like fairness is a large aspect of Australian identity, so coming towards that middle ground, even with our language, is a yeah, really displays Australian identity. Okay.